another edition of Enlightening Conversations with subject matter experts from Open Spaces Consulting. I'm Dr. Aneeta Madhok, coaching psychologist and managing director of Open Spaces in Mumbai. And I'm here to talk to you today about how talent is becoming the new concrete of the construction industry. As you know, the construction industry is dynamic, labor-intensive, and project-based. This set of combination of factors actually leads to a whole unique set of HR challenges. And if you want to work towards productivity and successful project execution, a simple administrative focus on HR is not enough. You have to create a strategic focus that will help you manage skill shortages, particularly for key talent, workforce requirements on a project basis, and onboarding for teamwork and synergy in very short time spans. At the same time, you have to take care of compliance with labor laws and always the safety requirements. The aim of every HR professional is to drive sustainable growth and to maintain a competitive edge, especially in the construction sector, where talent is the concrete foundation based on which companies build their existence and success. Our subject matter expert today is Mr. Bavneesh Gulati. He's an HR professional with more than 3 decades of experience in diverse industries like oil and gas, steel, retail, and real estate. Bavneesh, whom I've known for many decades now, has a deep expertise in handling organizational complexity and churning out simple, impactful outcomes from it. He has been resourcing and managing senior leadership teams and has excelled in organizational development initiatives. His corporate career spans over several years with long stint in Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, which is where I met him as my first ever client, and with long stints also in JSW and in RPG Enterprises, and perhaps the longest one, the last 18 years in Kalpataru, where he is the Human Resources Director. In his own words, his passion lies in learning for self and others. A true strategic mind working in the construction sector is going to share with us how he has created his talent management strategy to be the concrete foundation on which the organization builds and creates. So, hi Bavneesh, welcome to our Open Spaces series of enlightening conversations with subject matter experts. And I know you as a truly grounded HR professional with a sharp and strategic mind since even before you entered the construction industry. I have followed your progress from diverse companies like HPCL and the RPG Group, and now with Kalpataru and construction sector for the last 18 years. So now tell me, you have worked in non-construction as well as construction. According to you, what are some of the unique and special HR aspects of the construction sector in comparison to the rest of the world?
Yeah. So one thing which stands apart in this sector is that everything is very project based. So it's not that last year we did 100, so this year we are going to do 110. It's not like that. Like in FMCG or in manufacturing or whatever, you've got a assembly line and you'll do incrementally more than last year. It's not like that. Every year you're supposed to get a new project. You're supposed to start from scratch. So mobility of manpower, mobility of people is the topmost requirement in this sector.
Yeah.
People, in fact, for HR, the challenge is if you can get people who would start a project and finish a project, nothing like it. The biggest challenge comes when people leave within, in between the projects.
Yeah.
Because for somebody to understand the nuances of the project before the person takes up is very difficult. So our endeavor always is to have some continuity. That continuity is very important, because otherwise what happens is this problem happened because of the previous person did this.
Yes.
There are, it's irreversible. If you have constructed something, you can't undo it. So that damage becomes a permanent damage, or it becomes a very costly damage if it has to be undone.
Yeah.
So So I think that is one of the major issues which we grapple with as HR. Second most important thing in construction, and when I say construction, I am specific to real estate, but real estate is also very big. So I would just like to give you some statistic. Real estate is the biggest employer in the country after agriculture.
Okay. Okay.
That gives us a lot of purpose and meaning, because in India, I think providing employment to the millions of people is a major issue. And if your industry is able to do that, I think we are happy about that. It gives a lot of meaning to our job. So now what I was coming to was that in construction and real estate, we, especially real estate, we work as a core. Builders work as a core. And for every aspect, we work with outsiders. When I say outsiders, I'll give you examples. Like construction actually is done by the contractors, not by the developer.
Okay.
Right? The design is done by an architect, external architect, not by us.
Yes.
The selling is done by a broker. So we work with vendors who supply us material. We work with contractors who supply us people. We work with MEP consultants who supply us engineering expertise. We work with structural consultants who supply us their expertise, design consultants, liaison consultants. So as a core, we operate with a ecosystem,
Yeah.
So when you are working with the ecosystem, what is important is influencing them, because you have to get your work done, right? And you have no positional authority over those people. So the biggest challenge for construction people is to be able to influence others. So I keep telling my manpower, my managers, that you have to learn how to get work done from others without actually having positional authority over them. They're not obliged to listen to you.
Yes.
They will do your work only if there is something in it for them. So what you have to do is create those win-win situations. And I normally talk about influencing skill, which I will not go into great detail, but just touch upon it. There are 30 to 35 methods of influencing.
Okay.
And research proves that a normal human being, normal manager, doesn't use more than 5 to 6 methods.
Okay.
So what happens is you're leaving a lot of leverage on the table. You're not utilizing, you're not optimizing. And that is the reason why I keep telling civil engineers that doing a postgraduate program for you is essential, because you will be able to leverage your civil engineering skills far better if you have a post graduation in management. A lot of these influencing skills come to you once you study management. So, going into a little detail about it, there are positive methods: influencing, appreciating somebody, recognizing somebody,
Okay.
rewarding somebody. So, you can go on and on. And negative methods: firing
Yes.
someone, shouting at someone. All these are negative methods. The more you use the positive methods, the more effective they become. The more you use the negative methods, the less effective they become. So they get blunt with use. So, not that one should not ever use negative methods, but the lesser you use them, the better it is. Use them sparingly. So, in civil engineering, in construction, I think mobility, number one,
Yeah.
project to project, and influencing skill, number two. These are two critical aspects that everybody needs to master.
Amazing, how you brought up a whole different take on management of human resources in the construction sector. And you described the ecosystem and, how it helps you to deal with high attrition rates and low availability of skills. But tell me, are there any, of course, apart from building influencing skills, are there any more workforce management practices that you have created within the company, like creation of talent pools, pipelines, etc., for key talent, that will keep projects going on a continuity, on the basis of continuity? What would be some of these best practices?
Uh, One is the technical pool. So it's very important to have the technical pool. It starts with the design guys. So we have a lot of in-house design people because an external designer, architect will not understand your ethos. So you need somebody internally to understand what the vision is. Then translate that vision for the external architect. So these people are called design coordinators. So
Okay.
coordinator word may not have a very positive meaning elsewhere. In our parlance, coordinators are crucial because they translate the vision for the external designer. Then that designer, what the person builds, that needs regulatory approval. So it's not that somebody has conceived the design and that will get implemented, that will get built. No, it needs to go through a regulatory process. And regulation in real estate sector is humongous. We need 38 approvals before we start digging a project.
Okay.
38 approvals. And those are building approvals, environment approvals, height approval, fire approval, all sorts of approvals. So, so there are specialized talent pools of license consultants and internal license coordinators who make sure that the design that we are uh, formalizing is good to get approved because it has to go to all these approval regulatory agencies for approval. So that is another very, very critical talent pool that we have. Then once we start the building process, we need a pool of commercial people. You know, see, these commercial people then make sure that there is viability of the project.
Yeah.
Because if the project is not viable, you're not going to earn any money and you can't do your next project. So you have to ensure that everything falls in place and we are not out of cash. So they manage the cash flows, they manage the so they're the P&L experts, if I may call it that. Profit and loss, they keep a tab of that. They also keep monitoring the project because project monitoring is also a very critical aspect. So that's the pool of commercial people. Then of course you need a talent pool of people who raise the resources because project management is a very cash intensive business.
Yes.
The developer is a very capital intensive business. While if you go to the other side, the contractor side, that is not capital intensive. A contractor just bids for a job and executes that job. So all the contractor needs is maybe cash flows. But what the builder needs is investment into the land, investment into all the other resources, and then cash flows. And most of the expenditure needs to be done even before you start getting the returns. So it becomes very important to have good finance people who raise resources at a competitive price from the market. Because if you're paying a high rate of interest and your project gets delayed, and there are a number of reasons for projects getting delayed. Anything can go wrong anytime.
We know that.
Your entire profitability would get eroded. So our cost of capital becomes a very, very important thing, and we need a talent pool which can manage this very well. So these are some of the talent pools which I remember. There would be more.
What about your recruitment strategies to keep these talent, pools already, ready and ready to be deployed all the time? Because we do know that there's high attrition in these areas.
Very good question, and I would like to address this because as an industry, you know, we have not created enough talent. Because what happened the decade after the global financial crisis from Yes, 2008 to 2010 was a washout completely.
Yes.
From 2010 to 2020, nearly for 1 decade, there was stagnancy in the business. So most of the players in the industry did not hire enough manpower. So as a strategy, we ensured that we always went to the campus and kept building our talent pool. So that kept us in good stead, because when you hire from the college and then you have good mentorship systems internally to groom that talent, they become useful very fast. And I keep saying, what freshers lack in experience, they more than compensate with their enthusiasm.
Okay, so you get them when they're fresh and they're raw and they're highly motivated, and you can groom them to be a part of your own culture. And then I'm sure you must be hiring in large numbers to account for the higher level of attrition as well.
So just to give you statistics, this year we've hired about 100 people for our sales and marketing from the campuses, about 52 people from colleges like NICMAR and CEPT for our technical this thing, and then small numbers for our other functions. So these are the two biggest functions actually. Sales
Constant intake of people and
and people. And if every industry player does that, then you're grooming talent for the industry. Ultimately they might move here there, but they'll work within the industry. And I've also seen one more very very important thing: people who come to our industry from outside never leave this industry, because it is so satisfying to be building something,
yes,
building homes, building bridges, building factories. You are contributing to the economic growth of the nation.
yes,
People who come into this industry don't go out. I've seen even in places like, even in functions like sales and marketing, we get people from, let's say, insurance, we get people from banking, we get people from all sorts of industries, hospitality. But once they come into real estate, they remain in real estate. Whether they work with Kalpataru or with X or Y or Z, but they remain within the industry. And I've not seen too many people getting poached by other industry from us, because people don't want to go. So it's a magnet. It's a talent magnet. The industry is a talent magnet. So once you get into it, you're always. And there was a time when civil engineers were not paid well.
yes.
Today, there's so much dearth of manpower that finally they're getting their space. They're getting acknowledged, recognized for their talent, and being paid a fair market rate. Believe
I do believe today, in engineering colleges, in the past it used to be IT engineering that was the top attraction for students, but now civil engineering is coming pretty close to that too.
I think thanks to the government, which has laid a lot of emphasis on infrastructure development in the nation building exercise, that civil engineering is becoming attractive, and it is a good career option for people.
Great. But you've spoken with so much passion about how people come to the industry and stay there. But we do know that project deadlines are always, looming very imminent on the horizon. Uh, how do you provide for work-life balance, in a state of almost continuous pressure from these time and cost budgets? Today, there is so much focus on employee wellness and well-being and how they manage pressure and work stress. So what are some of the things that you're doing for this purpose?
Well, balance is a little nuanced in this industry. So anybody who's joining this industry needs to keep this in mind, that there'll be pressure times, and when those pressure times are there, that time you are required. Like, I'll give you examples. In our 50% of our sales happen on weekends, because if you're buying a new home, you're going to wait for your weekend, Saturday and Sunday, to go and visit a site and along with your family and see. So if our salespeople think that work-life balance should be there, and Saturday, Sunday, I won't work. We lose 50% of our business. So they have to have this mindset, ki, okay, I can enjoy my time during the week when it is lean period. So we have, same is the case with projects. We have at the projects, and come what may, there are lean periods and there are pressure periods. And in fact, so it is not linear. It's a sinusoidal curve.
Okay.
There are troughs and there are peaks. So if you want work-life balance, manage your life in such a way when there is a lean period, you have your balance, and when it is a pressure period, you have your work. If you are able to get attuned to that cycle, you will find that you've got a good life in this industry. Great life, actually. One of my old bosses used to say, we are required to hurry up and wait. And I'll tell you the reasons for that. When approvals are not coming, so suppose Sarkar change your way, okay, your approvals are stuck. What do you do? Or till the new government comes, the new setup takes this thing, they go through your files all over again, you are not going to get your approval. So you have to wait. So that is your lean period. So during that period, you can do your learning, you can do your balance of life, you can take your holidays, you can take care of your children, you can do whatever you want, right? And then suddenly the approval comes. And your, RERA deadline to remains the RERA deadline, right? So you have to now build it in a crunched timeline. So at that time, if you say that I want work-life balance, the organization is going to tell you, hold on, you need to complete this. So that's why that hurry up phase. And then something else will stop the project, and again you are in a wait phase. So I think you have to manage your life. And if you're in this industry, you have to manage your life in such a manner that it is in cohesion with the organization's phase of moving. And then if you're comfortable with that, you'll really enjoy your work.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So there are times when you can be available to your family, and there are times when you're really, stuck with the deadlines. That's great. So because then it helps you on the average, you do quite well, right? So one last question, Bavneesh, before we go. So much things we're talking about today about technology and human resources management. So tell me, at Kalpataru, how has technology in HR helped you?
So I would say it's again critical for the business, because your entire workforce is spread across. In fact, in construction, the project sites are all at remote places, sometimes very, very far away. So the only thing which keeps connected to you, connected your people to you, is technology. Today, a person with a mobile phone sitting in, let's say, the Northeast, doing a project there, is as connected as somebody in the same building. So technology, even in HR, we use success factors. I don't know whether people are familiar with it or not.
Yes, of course.
Every person is on success factors, and they've got on their mobile connectivity. They can do their stuff sitting at any location, anywhere in the country, in our case, but in the world, in many other cases where there are Indians. One of our group companies, Kalpataru Projects International Limited, works in 52 countries.
Okay.
So if they are sitting in Zambia or Brazil, or wherever they are connected to the company's technology systems, and they can do their work seamlessly. So I would say technology is the backbone of industry.
That's wonderful, and it's so great to listen to the kind of issues you have raised and a strategic mind. Any one message you'd like to give to our viewers, and particularly, I'm addressing certain students of certain construction companies and participants of training programs. So any one message you would like to give them?
So the message I would like to give them is, don't wait for someone to come to you for learning. go and grab the opportunities. There is so much learning today, and it's available to you. It's available to you on your mobile, it's available to you from your mentors, it's available to you from your colleagues. Just go out and seek out. And once you are equipped with the knowledge, the actual learning happens by doing. So you learn mostly by doing on the job. And if you're learning, everything else is incidental. Your success is incidental. Yeah. You'll do
Words of wisdom from you, Bhavnesh.
for success.
Yeah, true words of wisdom, and I'm really thankful for your participation in this enlightening interview sessions with subject matter experts. So I just wish you good luck and want to say a very warm word of thank you for the wonderful strategic canvas that you have painted here for all those who will be watching this video, participants of our training program as well as others.
I hope they benefit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.